this week we also got a good taste of that, right? So embargo lifted last week. I believe it was, what was it? Was it like Wednesday or something like that? It was right after the show. It was Tuesday.
Right after the show, that Monday night we saw.
Oh, that night. Yeah, that night we were already seeing footage. We were wondering what the hell was this? And then the next day you wake up, you're like, what day is it? Looking at all the Street Fighter 6 footage, you thought it was already June 2nd. But it wasn't. So a bunch of content creators, known personalities and such, finally got through embargo, and they played at Capcom headquarters or whatever, had chance to sit down with the game, got a certain amount of time of footage, and they started cranking things out, which was pretty cool. So we got to see a whole lot of footage for a lot of things that we've been, scheming for, wanting, fiending, all that good stuff. And it just like kept on coming, man. Just kept on coming. Reversal GG started posting up. Say Jam, Tasty Steve. This video we're looking at here for Miss Cupcakes. Who else do we have? Rooflemonger. The usual suspects when it comes to that. Justin Max. Yeah, the usual suspects when it comes to the content creation game right now. And now there's videos of like all characters pre-match. Walk, right?
Ritual.
Like the ritual, their character select screen animations, their faces. Like you can YouTube all of that right now. Street Fighter 6 pre-match walk. I'm pretty sure this is like a video. Street Fighter 6 walkout pre-versus. Exactly. Really cool. Got to see a lot of the stuff that we were like wondering what it would look like, how some of these characters are interacting. So it was fun. It was fun to see this footage come out. I'm still not convinced. Mano is 129 pounds at 5'9". I don't believe it. Zangief being 400 pounds, right? Yeah, one shy of it. I believe that. But yeah, it was some pretty cool. The animations and such for the walkouts were awesome. Got to see some trollish stuff like Blanca. If it's two Blancas, it depends on the side you're on. Actually, one side does a different animation compared to the other side. So Kimberly on the left, on the player one side, will do a different animation from Kimberly on the right.
I'm talking about the stage background.
The stage background. I believe the stage background is dependent on the actual stage you pick.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, but that was the other thing. Some little things I noticed was animation changes between the sides you pick, which is pretty cool. Yeah, because you see going to, I guess it looks like that's going to be the Caribbean of some type, or the jungle. You see the actual palm trees and all that loading up. Cammy's is so raw. She's just nothing. Just nothing. Ready? All business. Ready? Looks to the right. That's it. We in there. And Chuners, I didn't notice this about Chun-Li. I don't know if this was in the beta, but I didn't play her, so I wouldn't know. I'd have to go ask. It's like when she starts, look, she does the classic pose, like the iconic pose where from the art piece from Akiman, where she has her hands down and she just looks to the right. Like the artwork I'm talking about. It's pretty iconic for her. I was like, I did not know that's what she did, which is pretty sick.
I'm gonna have to look it up, but I know.
Yeah, you have to know. You gotta know. All right, so yeah, we got a bunch of footage. We got a bunch of content. Here's a perfect example of Jamie doing something completely different on one side versus the other. A bunch of content, like I said. Gameplay, man, that was the name of the game there now. Like gameplay, who was putting up what CPU, at level 8, whatever. Whoever was throwing up the content to just show, what characters were doing. This particular video we're just checking up right now is JP versus Marissa. Also, even some other color differences. I never knew what Marissa's like secondary color was going to be now. She has like a silver top.
By the way, some of the first footage we did see was like from GameSpot and from IGN, gamer journalists like that.
Yeah.
However, we were like, wait a minute, they're just doing CPU versus CPU. Yeah, a lot of them actually did, but they were only allowed apparently to go to CPU level 7, not level 8. I guess level 8 is a little too, let's say, revealing, so to speak.
Interesting.
Maybe they're like, we don't want to release all of our content of our CPUs.
That's weird. Like, what do you mean?
Right.
Like, it's just what's it gonna give away that people aren't already putting out there? That's strange. But
that's one of somebody's conjecture. I don't remember exactly who said that. Those videos I was watching. But yet again, it is interesting that JP looking pretty fantastic.
Yeah, dude, I saw from all the footage, there was like so much being released. I couldn't tell you which channel it was, but I saw he can set up his his stab projectile wherever his portals. Even if he's in block stun, they will come out.
Oh,
so he could set up, and even if you try to approach him post, like his setup can interrupt you. Like outside of grab, there we go. Outside of grab, he could actually interrupt like your combo, depending on the situation, your hit string, your block string you're trying to put out there. It's pretty bonkers. I didn't think they would let that kind of stuff rock, but they are. So that was a really cool piece I got to see, or I got to notice from the JP gameplay out there. He's looking really potent too. Like I have yet to dive super hardcore. I have checked out, some trials, right? Like Cammy trials were out, right?
Yeah.
And she what's up?
They look kind of difficult
and they look hard
too. But
yeah. They look a little difficult. Getting a good sense for the character, right? I believe it was Justin Wong. He put the Cammy.
Maximilian put them up as well. But not only did he put up the trials, but I was like, interesting. It was the first one. I'm like, interesting. He didn't just put up the trials, but he put up the demo of them, because he's like, I'm not going to do these in like 10 seconds. Maybe, I'm thinking. Apparently some people only had a half hour or something. Or
yeah, exactly. It was limited time for the game. Yeah, this some people got definitely a little bit more time than others, but it is what it is.
Commander spent all the time finding the E Honda stuff, and Lily stuff. So very good things. But like we're talking Cammy's trials.
Yeah.
They're looking kind of good.
They look good. There's definitely some Street Fighter 4-ness to it. We're not gonna do a deep dive on Cammy, but the reason we're bringing it up, or the reason I'm bringing it up, is because like all this footage is giving us a good tell as to the capabilities of these characters, right? Even at the advanced level. The reason I bring up Cammy is because like she looks strong, right? But she might be a character, because of these trials and seeing what she gets, like her output and versus other characters, like the amount of resources she needs to get that same kind of damage or such, like doesn't it just looks like it's too much. So there's already a lot of pre-consensus to the character, because now that means like maybe there's a lot more execution required to get that return. We talked about it before, right? Execution versus the value return on a character will make them difficult, but not in a sense of like you being a bad player, but it's just it makes their goal to drain the life harder to do, or rather more resource intensive to do than some other characters. Like Mano can level 5 command grab you, because the command grabs you're guaranteed to get a command grab level 5, because those things continue throughout rounds, right? Even at a 2-round minimum. Her command grab level 5 will do damn near as much as one of Cammy's like super advanced combos. Like sure, also take it with a grain of salt. This isn't optimal as far as we could tell, right? Because this is just what the game, the trials are. But until we get our hands on it and we start seeing how things scale, combo routes, and start really growing the character tech, we won't know what's gonna be optimal. But just looking at these interactions though can give you a pretty good snapshot of it. So some consensus as to certain characters are showing up already. Like I said, Mano being pretty strong early on, like grapplers are looking really powerful, Lily's looking really good right now. So there's already like some pre-release concepts or consensus to some of these characters. Which is expected. Like it's not really a big deal. People, some characters are just going to do well due to the system. But what I usually do in these situations, which is what I tend to give people an advice for, is if you're gonna pick up a game, especially a game that has legacy characters and has new characters, pick one of each. Pick a legacy character, because for one, there's already a history that you can fall back on when it comes to things like matchups, general strategies, things like that, right? A new character has an advantage because the character has technically the disadvantage is they don't have a legacy, like they don't have a history, but because they're a new character in a new game with new systems, they're tailored to it. So they most of the time can be designed. Most of the time, it's not always true. It's not like 100% true, but it's a pretty good pattern of it, where they tend to be able to use the system more effectively because they were designed around it. They're not legacy characters that are getting patched together to work in this new system, so things are tweaked, right? And sometimes that could make them stronger, sometimes that could make them worse, right? There were some characters that were solid without a V trigger, but then there were some characters that were amazing that had, you know, with V trigger, right? There's your Nikali, you know, from season 1 off the rip, was born to have V trigger on at all times. But then there were other characters that V triggers didn't really affect the match as much as, you know, maybe Nikali's would, right? It's going to be the same here when it comes to how, you know, the damage output's going to be, the drive meter, the super meter, you know, what those resources are going to come in handy with the legacy character versus the new character.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It's what I've always said. The game has a way of allowing old players to, or classic players to play the game the old way, like let's say Ken or Cammy or whatever way you want to. From what I'm seeing, there's so much depth that anyone can still play it and feel like they've played an old game.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so characters are looking strong though, you know, just cause, shout outs to Fatboy in the chat. Actually, I wanted to bring up Dawson, right? Like Dawson's Fireball game's looking really strong right now. I don't know if you've seen some of the clips. Let's see. Dawson, Street Fighter 6 Fireball. Let me see if I can find the proper clip. But yeah, like a lot of this footage that came out has been pretty gnarly. It's giving us a lot of consensus to these characters, and it's great. It's great. It's just, man, it's so dangerous how some of these characters, like, we can already tell they're going to be like a problem. But that's gonna be half the fun, right? It's figuring all this out. It's gonna be a lot of, you know, breaking down the tech, breaking down what the tech that we do develop for the meta, and then seeing what works, what doesn't. But early on, it's just a free for all. Everyone's gonna play everything. Those initial tournaments are going to be insane, right? Like CEO is going to be fucking bonkers, right? We're going to see a lot of character representation, but then we're going to see those early characters that are going to just dominate, and they're going to get high pick rates.
Drive impacts in real life.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's gonna get raw pretty fast. So yeah, so we have all this footage now. I still have to comb through a lot of it myself. But it's still like pretty insane to see that we have so much to look forward to. We do have, once again, that open beta that's going to be coming down the pipeline, but you know, in the meantime, that's going to hold us out until the game actually releases on the 2nd.
I feel like right now with the demo out, my favorite person to view right now, which isn't somebody who's had access to the game through the headquarters, would be Automatic. Right now he's just shooting tech out there from just the demo, practicing, playing with people locally on the demo, and just learning Ryu all the way through. Even setups that are like inescapable, setups for the stun in the corner.
I saw, yeah.
And just dissecting the game for what it is right now. And yeah.
I'm already gonna call it now because I think I've seen the clips you were talking about. And it has to do with like an inescapable drive impact that happened in the match. Like this was post after getting level 3. That is like the worst. Like level 3, like cashing out with a full level 3, if it doesn't kill, is not going to be a thing. Right. Because if you cash out your meter after, say, you use all your drive gauge on a super optimal combo, you get knocked down, you legit don't have an answer for any drive meter on like wake up. Like you don't have an answer, especially if it's done, you know, meaty enough. You don't have an answer because, you know, the only thing you could have at that point would be super. But if you just used all 3 bars, critical art or not, like you legit don't have anything to break the armor. Unless, you know, there's armor breaking moves in this game, which to my knowledge, you know, I think the only one right now is Marissa. But even then, that's going to take some time. It will still lose to meaty to melee driver pack. But yeah, it's very early on. Like I said, the Luke and Ryu mains are gonna be eating just fine. You cats are gonna be just fine.
Unless they just take away everything.
Yeah, unless
this character doesn't have a grab, everything is super negative.
That's the thing. Like I said, the day one patch, or whatever changes that they're going to stealthily put in, because I'm betting Capcom is not going to let everything rock to the degree of the closed beta. Like they're just going to, because if they're already, I'm assuming they're already like holding out on giving you anything past the closed beta number 2. There's no way they're just going to let the same kind of data from closed beta number 2 be the primary patch when it comes out, because you're still going to inherently embolden the crack users, right? Like that's just how it is, and they're trying to keep it fair.